Good evening, everybody. My name is Father Mark Babbitt. I'm the chaplain here at St. Thomas Academy, entering into my second year. So great to have the new parents who come, some of you not new, actually, to get oriented to St. Thomas Academy. Just a little bit about myself. I'm in my second year. I've served at St. John Newman of Egan before this, and St. Joseph West St. Paul before this. Currently serving also on weekends in the cathedral, and that's my place of residence as well. I teach high school theology, the sophomores, a couple sections of that, as well as one campus ministry course that we have sort of tag teaming that with another teacher here. But even though I teach the sophomores and that senior class, I'm really here for the entire school. Grades 6 to 12, all your boys, the faculty, the staff, really everybody. I sort of treat this like a parish in a way, and as such, the spiritual well-being of everybody here is my top priority. So just a little bit about what we offer for that spiritual nourishment. I have Mass here every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. The times might vary, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, but Mass is offered every day. Confessions 3 times a week, and I'm involved in the retreats a little bit as well. We have Eucharistic adoration once a month, spearheaded by the Mothers Club. So as a Catholic school, we really want to make it clear that Jesus Christ and the sacraments, that's the lifeblood of this school. And we are very proud of that. So with that, let's begin with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Take a few moments to pause and call to mind. We remember the victims of the 2 tragic shootings in Dayton and El Paso. We pray for a conversion of hearts of those who committed these terrible crimes. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the many blessings you have given us, particularly the gift of this school, St. Thomas Academy. As this school year begins, we ask you to send down your Holy Spirit upon all of us, upon the administration and faculty, that we may always teach the truth with love and kindness and thoughtfulness, upon our students, that they would be men after your own heart in their pursuit of truth, and upon our parents, who have sacrificed so much out of great love for their sons. Father, ultimately, it is out of love for you that this school exists in the first place. Help us to remember that always, that everything we do would be for your glory alone. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now I would like to introduce you to our headmaster, Rear Admiral John Fowler.
Thanks, Father. Good evening. I always have to judge whether I need a microphone or I'm blowing people out. So if I'm getting too loud with this, let me know and I'll either tame it down or I'll put it down. But I'm glad to be here. It was Father's second year. It's my first year back as your interim headmaster. And real quickly, I was here as a freshman in '67. And that was an amazing year and an amazing 4 years that I was thrilled to graduate, went on to the Coast Guard Academy, and 33 years in the service, 3rd at sea, a 3rd doing various jobs, including some political, and 3rd as lawyer and eventually the Judge Advocate General. I offer all that not because I'm comfortable really talking about myself, but because I am firmly of the belief that I encountered all the challenges and overcame them in my life, in my career, because of the foundation here at St. Thomas Academy. And that's the reason why I'm here this year. Was thrilled this morning to meet with the faculty and staff and share some views as to our way forward and going through this year. And it's going to be a great year, I can assure you. And I'm so thankful that your sons, your boys are going to join us. And we're going to join you in the shared mission of developing boys into men of character. And that's our mission, and that's our pledge to you. We do that and we remember our 4 core values, faith, excellence, integrity, and respect. And those all 4 are very, very important. Respect is a common theme I had in the U.S. Coast Guard, and I always talk to young men and women on hunters about the importance of that in making the world work. It's going to be important here. I'm going to talk to your boys about that, and I look forward to your support as we go through the year, and with that in mind. But the first of those core values, and they're all important, is faith. And so I'm pleased to have followed Father in his remarks, and I'm pleased to hear, his contributions in frequent masses and prayer life. I look forward to seeing your boys at First Mass, and join me as we pray for our support together for the year. So look forward to a great year. Look forward to seeing you at events throughout the year and enjoying the experience and community here at St. Thomas Academy. I'm very pleased to be here and join you for that. Thank you.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Edel. I'm the upper school director at St. Thomas Academy. This is my 9th year at the Academy. This is my 4th year as the upper school director, and previously I served as the Dean of Students for my first 5 years here. I want to welcome all our new families in attendance here this evening, as well as welcome back any middle school families that are now high school families. Does that sound strange? A little bit? We have an ambitious schedule tonight, so I'm not going to go into too much about our mission, as John touched on it, as did Father. But before I jump into some of the logistics that I'm going to go over, I do want to share one story, an anecdote really, that resonated with me as to the power of what we do here at St. Thomas Academy. I was recently at a Mass, and during the homily, the priest was talking about all the challenges that young people of this generation are facing. Of course, he was referencing those young men and women in Generation Z. Okay? Has anybody done research on Generation Z or generational characteristics? Yeah? Well, I've been doing a lot. And my first question is to you, how many times have you looked at your son and asked yourself, or said to him, that would never fly back in my day, right? Okay, I say that all the time. I've got a 7th grader here at the Academy. I've got 2 others that are young. I find myself thinking and saying that all the time. In fact, walking the halls here, I often think that as well. Nevertheless, those challenges are very real. And for this generation, they're pronounced in a number of ways. And what really struck me were some of these things that the priest was talking about. 1, the disassociation from organized religion. This generation, Generation Z, are the least religious generation in American history. The level of apathy related to academic achievement that has been seen across the country. A lack of interpersonal skills. Many attribute those, of course, to the use of technology and other social media avenues. A lack of engagement in organized school activities, dropout rates, leadership skills, an absence of leadership skills that are taught explicitly in the classrooms through formal experiences. Many others as well. And what I found is that instead of feeling despondent or hearing some of those statistics, I felt a tremendous sense of relief. Because the mission of St. Thomas Academy, your reasons for sending your sons to our school, and the reason I can stand here as both the upper school director and as a father of a cadet, and speak confidently to what we do and how special this school is is because the mission of our school, and John alluded to that earlier, the mission of our school to create young men of character. We do those things intentionally, and we address all of these issues that these young men are facing as a group. We're founded in a Catholic faith. That tradition is alive and well, and it's felt here every single day. From formation time to classroom prayer to times that we gather as a community, that faith tradition is celebrated. As a college preparatory school, our students excel in and outside of the classroom. They are as competitive academically as they are on any sport field. I guarantee you that. We explicitly teach leadership skills, discourse, conversation, critical thinking, and collaborative skills. All those things that seem to be so lacking generationally and societally, we do those things explicitly and intentionally. And lastly, our student body is engaged. Maybe overly engaged. Sometimes you have to save them from themselves. They are overscheduled, a little anxious. They need to take some time to remember that they are also kids. Nevertheless, they are engaged. Activities, clubs, work, volunteering opportunities, family commitments, friends. They are a very active and engaged group. Our commitment to you, of course, at St. Thomas Academy is to live every day our mission to its fullest. And I look forward to working with you in the coming years to see that we advance that mission together. If you wouldn't mind, in your packets, you've got this upper school new family orientation sheet. If you wouldn't mind taking that out. It's our cheat sheet to getting you and your son off to a good start this year. I apologize if some of this is a repeat for any of you that are returning, but nevertheless, we need to go over some of this. So, the upper school new student orientation is Friday the 23rd. It'll run from about 8 to noon. It is really an introduction to our leadership, our military curriculum and department. So you can drop them off at the Vince Flynn Hall doors. Right when you came through the atrium there, they'll have an opportunity to set up their locker. They'll go through the leadership department curriculum and some of the other events there, as well as set up their lockers. I know there's there seems to be more anxiety than ever about setting up your locker. I don't quite understand that, but nevertheless, they'll have time to do that. So please, if they have locker shelves, they can bring them in that day, dress as casual, drop them off by 8. Back to school night, our first major event of the school year. Great night to get out. Seems to be one of the biggest social events of the year for parents. You'll quickly come to find that. We will run you through your son's schedule. And so what I'd ask you to do is to bring a copy of your son's schedule with you to that night, and we'll go through a traditional bell schedule. All right? Schedules. Just quickly, a review of how our schedule works. It's an ABC rotation. On A days and C days, your son will have 5 classes. On B days, he'll have 4. On that B day, we also have an hour block, which we call B block, set aside for special programming, whether it be marching or speakers or any other event that we can put in that time that's of value for programming. His core classes, he'll have 2 out of those 3 days. So science, math, English, etc. Those core classes, he'll have 2 out of 3 days. And for freshmen, we introduced a social studies component to the curriculum. And so he'll have Phy Ed and Health one semester, and then social studies the opposite semester. Okay? First bell is at 7:55. 8 o'clock is when you have to be in your first class. Please get them here on time. That goes without saying. But one thing I do want to highlight and stress is attendance. Very important that your son is in attendance. When we have a rotating schedule like we do, and he misses 1 out of those 3 days of his core content classes especially, there's a lot to catch up on. And if he's gone multiple days, it's even more so. So that attendance piece is more critical than ever. Before, when we were on a 7-period day, if you missed the class, you knew you had it the next day. That's not so anymore. Okay? If you have any attendance needs, you can contact Katie Doran. She assists the Dean of Students, and she's right down here in Flynn Hall, right in the attendance office. We also have tutoring that takes place Monday through Thursday. That's mandatory for all of our teachers until 3:15. Appointments can be set up before school with their teachers as well. They just need to advocate for themselves and reach out to them. Last thing is that we do have a flex period. Some people call it advisory, some people call it flex. Your sons will all be designated an advisor. And that advisor will follow them through their entire high school career. So during that flex time, they'll report to their advisor, and there might be an activity or it might be an opportunity to go get tutoring from another teacher. But that advisor is going to get to know your son and your family on a more intimate level. So that can be a point of contact for you at the school if you've got questions about how your son is doing, how they're acclimating to being at the school, academic questions, etc. Student drop-off and pickup, again, right outside of Flynn Hall here. It gets a little busy in the morning, I understand. Some people drop them off up at Founders Hall. That's okay in a pinch, but we ask you, we want the students to be coming through Flynn Hall as much as possible. Uniforms, I think Colonel Cooper will be going over the uniforms, so I'll let that be. Our handbook and planner. Your son will receive his handbook and planner on the first day of school. And it has every single school day mapped out for him, the A, B, C rotation, as well as special events for the day and for the month, and the rules and regulations of the school. We'll have that posted online, and it'll be under our parent link on our website, so you can also view it. Our communications. So each week we have a parent e-weekly newsletter that goes out on Fridays via email. Please make sure that your correct email address is filed online with our office staff. You'll also have an opportunity to look at that in PowerSchool Unified Classroom. PowerSchool is our student information system. Unified Classroom is our learning management system. If anything needs correction, please notify us as soon as possible. You will be pushed a notification to sign up for Unified Classroom as a parent. You can view your son's grades, missing assignments, things like that. If you are checking it 30 times a day, we might give you a call and say we're going to discontinue your ability to access that. It has happened. I'm just warning you, fair game. But overall, because you can also sign up so that your phone dings every time a missing assignment gets plugged in for your son. I would advise you, he's got a lot of eyes on him and a lot of help here right now. Please let us try to manage that for the first couple of weeks or months. We will not let them fall through the cracks, and we'll save you a lot of tough conversations at home. Our upper school cell phone policies. This is one that we get all the time. They're different from the middle school. In the middle school students are not allowed to have their phones on them, so they either keep them at home or they turn them into the office when they get to school. In the upper school, we've tried to develop a policy that is more realistic and current of the times and expectations of the boys. And so what we ask is that in common spaces, in the media center, in the cafeteria, in the court, places where the expectation is that you are interacting verbally with people around you. The expectation is that you're having conversation with people around you. You should not be on your cell phone. And so we enforce it there. If they need to get on their cell phone as they leave class to check a message that they got from their mom, and moms, I'm telling you, more often than not, it's a text message from mom. That's fine. We're not going to fight that battle. But what we will do is we will reinforce our expectation that when they're around each other in those common spaces, that they're communicating and interacting with one another on a more personal level. And so far, as we've gone to that in the last 3 years, I think the boys have respected that. We've explained to them why we do it, and we've had way fewer conflicts related to cell phones. Something that's not on here, the freshman retreat. Hopefully all of you that are freshman parents received the communication about the freshman retreat that we'll be taking to the ARC Center. Please get your slips in, your permission slip, into Katie Dorn as soon as you can. And the last thing I want to mention about that is that at 2 o'clock on that Sunday, this is a great addition for those of you who've had sons go through here and graduated, and I see a few already. One thing that we've added to this year's retreat is that we're going to have Mass upon return to campus. And we're inviting all families to attend Mass with their sons. So that'll be at 2 o'clock, I think in here, in this gym. And we ask you to attend Mass with your son as kind of a capstone of that overall retreat experience. I also want to point you to our website. It is where you can locate faculty. So they have photos on there. Click on that, you can get an email address. We've got calendar quick links. We're still uploading some of the calendar items as we've had a few changes, most notably to the auction date. So there's calendar quick links there, as well as sports schedules. And those are probably the most prominent events and things that you're going to be searching for on our website at this time. They're all up there for you to see. And lastly, from a technology standpoint, we have 2 parent tech orientation trainings that are going to be offered. The first is August 13th, and the second is September 30th. So we ask you to attend for a hands-on orientation to our Parent Unified Classroom portal. So that's going to teach you how to use that online resource that our students use as well. So you can see your son's schedule, academic information, grades, and academic announcements. So again, those are August 13th and September 30th. Tina Monosmith, Tina is right over there. She can be contacted directly for any technology-related questions, from buying a laptop to helping set up your accounts. She's always happy to offer assistance and help. And lastly, students have access to their cadets' Gmail accounts, and instructions to their additional accounts will be sent to them via email. So they have access right now. Right now they have access to their Gmail accounts. Please encourage your son to email Tina Monosmith with any questions. Okay? Before we move on to our slate of speakers, I do want to acknowledge people that are here with us that will be key members of your son's experience here that just won't be speaking tonight. So Tina Monosmith, our Director of Technology. Eric Rome. Eric will be serving as the Learning Specialist in the high school. Jake Ingalls will be serving as our School Counselor in the high school. David Hottinger, our Director of Institutional Advancement. Pam Kunkel, our Director of Business Affairs and Operations. Norma Gutierrez, who you'll all get very familiar with, is our Director of College Counseling, sooner than you think. And as a few other people filter in tonight, I will introduce them as well. We'll be here after the program to answer any individual questions you have for as long as it takes. So again, I want to welcome you and thank you for choosing St. Thomas Academy. And I am going to introduce Michelle Mechtel, our Director of Academic Life.
Welcome again to STA. It is really great to see all of you here tonight. I am so grateful, we are so grateful for your attendance tonight. We know it's tough in the summer. Schedules are busy, your sons are busy, you're busy people, so thank you so much. Welcome to those of you who are new to the Academy, and welcome to those who are new to the high school. It is going to be a great year. If you have been on campus recently, you've noticed all the renovations happening on the stadium field and the baseball fields in the building as well. We are getting ready. We are not there yet. Hard to believe August is here, but we will certainly be ready to welcome your sons in just a few short weeks. I am the Director of Academic Life here at the Academy, and I work with all things related to academics and your sons. So if you are unsure of where to go, who to speak to, how to reach out to a teacher, when to reach out to a teacher, please call me or email me, and I am happy to help or direct you to the right person. Schedules are going to be mailed, so probably the biggest question maybe you have or your sons have: when will we get his schedule? When will we know who his teachers are, what classes are here? Tammy Greenlee is our registrar. Tammy, if you would wave over there. She has been working tirelessly to build this master schedule, build your son's schedules, and we will have those mailed home next week. And so with that, we are resolving conflicts. A few of you may have already received a call. Mostly it's senior conflicts we're resolving right now. But we are really excited. The teachers are preparing for your sons. If you have not started, if your sons haven't started summer reading, if you haven't seen the website yet, please do go on the website. There's summer reading, and hopefully they have those books already in hand and are reading them. I know some of them have an audio book. Let's get the books in their hands as well. With that, Brian spoke about back to school night. That is the evening that you will have. It's really in depth with the teachers. You'll get to go through a day in the life of your son, really meeting their teachers, understanding the classes, the curriculum. But if you have questions between now and then, I think that's September 9th. If you have questions in between now and then, please don't wait. Reach out early, reach out often. Please have your sons do the same. My office, Brian's office, the headmaster's office, they're all up, and college counseling, all of them are right in that founder's hall when you first enter. And so in 9th grade, the boys are a little bit shy coming into my office, unless some of them I've known. I was at visitation prior to coming here, so some of those boys I've known since they were about 3 years old. They might be a little more comfortable. By senior year, I'll have a line outside my door, right before grading periods or before a drop ad period, and they'll come in for everything to mediate their conflicts. But right now, they may be a little shy to do that. So please do encourage them to advocate for themselves. If they have questions, reach out. Any of us are happy to help. Our student support services team is amazing. You have chosen this school in part because of the relationships your son will have with all of us. And so we are here to help and guide and support them. I don't think that I have a lot of other things to add right now, but certainly as you go through the website, as you look through your folders tonight, if you have questions, I'll be around at the end of the night, as will everyone else here. And so I am going to now turn it over to Kurt Cooper. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Cooper, and I'm the Deputy Commandant of Cadets for St. Thomas Academy. On behalf of Colonel Hetherington and the military cadre, I want to welcome you parents from 2023. I'm a retired Army officer aviator. My last assignment was the University of Minnesota as a professor of military science. And the first time I ever stepped into St. Thomas Academy was in 2006 to do that BFI inspection that so many have heard about. From that day forward, I've been so impressed with St. Thomas Academy and what a wonderful place it is. St. Thomas is such a special place. I wanted to start off with a story of a young man who's looking to go to high school. And that young man, he went to Totino Grace, he went to Hill Murray, and he even went to Cretin-Durham Hall. And he said, Totino Grace is where I've settled, he told his father, and he says, this is where I want to go. About a month later, he comes up to his father and goes, Dad, I've heard of this place, St. Thomas Academy, and I'd like to go take a tour. So his father says reluctantly, I thought you wanted to go to Totino Grace. He goes, no, I want to go to St. Thomas Academy and just check it out, see if it's anything different. So the young man gets driven down by his father, gets dropped off, and he has a wonderful day. And as his son gets into the car at the end of the day with his dad, he looks at him and goes, Dad, This is where I want to be. Well, his father looks over and goes, what about Tino Grace, all your friends and all these things? He says, Dad, it's the brotherhood, and this is where I belong. That was 3 years ago, and that was my junior son that said to me, and that started our journey here as a family at St. Thomas Academy, and also my job. Yes, you'll see Connor, he's in the hallways, and I'm also very proud and say that I am also a parent of 2023 with my other son, and he cannot wait to put on his uniform. So I'm here to answer the uniform questions tonight. So what makes St. Thomas so special? It's our mission. We try to take young boys and turn them into men of character. That's what we do. You've entrusted us to do this. How is it done? The Admiral started by saying, it's our values: faith, integrity, respect, excellence. These are the foundations of St. Thomas Academy. We add to this in the military department. We're one of the 4 pillars. And what we do is we take the Army's values: loyalty, duty to yourself, to others, and above you. Respect again. Selfless service. These boys serve their communities so well, and they learn it here at St. Thomas Academy. Honor. They learn the principles of honor and how to respect each other and their peers and their superiors. Integrity. But most of all, they learn personal courage. When they're afraid to go do something, it's that extra special St. Thomas Academy where they actually get up and they go do it. It's that personal courage. With this value system, that's what makes St. Thomas Academy so special, and that's how we make men of character. And you'll be surprised after this 4-year journey what they have become, and I think you'll be very proud of them. So, the question you all came for, right? How is my freshman going to be successful? Is it the uniform? Is it the shoes? Is it the haircut? Yes, that's all part of it. But grades are our number 1 priority. No matter how we look at it, grades will always take the priority, and that's the number 1 thing we look at in the military department. Uniform and appearance. Okay, if you're going to go see Grandma with your Sunday best, is this good enough? I guess that's the question you ask as he walks out the door every day. Shoe shine, uniform neat and tidy, haircut, shaven. Yes, they will start shaving very soon. Okay, those are just some of the questions you have. We want them to wear that uniform with pride. This is St. Thomas Academy. We want them to wear with pride in the school and outside the school, because they are part of our community. It's the small things that you have to check. The uniforms that might result in demerits, and also their military grade. Just to let you know, all your sons have started off with 100% already. They can only go down from there. So when they get demerits, you go down from 100. So that's how the demerit system works. So they've already started with 100. They're running an A right now. Okay. How will they know what to wear and how to do that? We have a great Chief Warrant Officer Prebelich, who's the first-year instructor. He is going to go in detail the first 3 weeks of how to wear the uniform and what it looks like. When there's ever a doubt of what it's supposed to look like or how they're supposed to wear it, what I want you to do is there's a little cadet handbook that they're going to be issued, and every answer that you could ever imagine is in there, of how to wear the ribbons, of how to wear the cord, where does this go, how does the buttons go. They're all in there, and they're expected to know it. So when they go, Mom and Dad, I don't know where this goes, say, where's your cadet handbook? We need to look it up. That's the answer back. And also, as you're here, if they do have any questions, make them an advocate. Let them ask for themselves. Go up and ask your instructor. We will give you the answer. All you have to do is say, I don't know, or I can't find it. We will lead them to the answer. That's part of the journey, and this is what we actually look forward to. Another thing for success for your freshmen is we want them to get involved. Get involved in St. Thomas Academy. That's how you become part of this community. That's how it becomes so special. In the military department, we have wonderful things. We have the Honor Guard and Color Guard, where we go to several events throughout the community, and we bring the colors and present the colors at events from baseball games to hockey games. We also honor funerals by opening up the doors for a lot of the former STA alumni. We have a crack drill squad. It's a 17-member group that does drill. The freshmen aren't allowed, but they can join when they're sophomores. So if they want to think about crack drill, they get a look at it for their first year. We're looking at a regulation drill squad this year and doing actually precision drill with rifles. Do you like the rifle team? Well, there's a 12-man rifle team. Tryouts will be in October, and we also have our own range. If you'd like to play targets, trap and skeet, we also have those that will be forming in the fall and also in the spring. We have what we call a ranger team. It's a high adventure team, everywhere from putting on rucksacks and walking 10 miles, which sounds like a lot of fun, or putting on snowshoes and pulling sleds, or making rope bridges and just learning different skills if they're interested in that. Or if they like to fire a cannon, we do have the cannoneer team, which every time we score a touchdown at a football game, the cadets light off the cannon. It's a big favorite. So just remember, when they have that question of how to wear the uniform, Cadet Handbook. That's where they go to look it up. And lastly, I wanted to summarize this. If they want to be successful, make sure their grades are number one, okay? The small things do matter, and to check them often when you're both on and off campus. Just to let you know, at the Speedy Way up here, they do call us when cadets are out of uniform, and they do take names, so we will get that back. So we have a really good community. Make sure they get involved. Honor Guard, rifle team, ranger team, play target team, whatever it can be. Remember, we're working on making these young boys into men of character, and your boys are in a very special place, and thank you for giving us the privilege to teach them. Thank you and have a great night, and I'm always here if I can answer any questions for you. Thanks.
Two options on the mics. Good evening. My name is Dan O'Ryan. I'm the interim director of activities and athletics, and also a football coach. And my charge for you guys tonight is to encourage you to encourage your sons to get involved, to get engaged. It's an exciting time of year. If your sons are like mine when they change schools, it's a nervous excitement. And sometimes it's a little bit scary. And you guys, there's no better way to overcome that and to acclimate than to get involved in activities. I see a lot of familiar faces. I have a bunch of your sons that have been involved in our summer program this summer. I'm sure they've said nothing but wonderful things about all the running that they've had the opportunity to do. But I know they're sleeping better. I'm sure of that. But you guys, when it's nerve-wracking at a time like this, let's get them involved. And for you as parents as well. This is a great opportunity for you guys as parents to meet other parents to do that piece too. But by getting involved, they'll meet new kids. Obviously, they'll meet new kids. And they'll meet kids outside of the classroom of their normal day. And they're going to meet kids if they get involved in one of our sport programs or one of our activities or clubs. They're going to meet kids with a similar interest. And I promise you it'll help their adjustment as they come to St. Thomas Academy. And most importantly, it's fun. If we're doing something outside the classroom, might be competing against another school, or we might be shooting traps, some of the things that we talked about. You guys, it's really, really important, and it's an important piece of their education as well. Also, you guys that get involved with some older kids too. And it's nice to have our freshmen engaged with our juniors and our seniors, obviously, and of course our sophomores as they go through too. How do you do it? How do we get them engaged? Number one, we sponsor, and you guys, there's a sheet in your packet. But we sponsor 14 programs, sport programs within the Minnesota State High School League. That's the competitive stuff. We're playing against Metro East Conference schools and outside school competitions. We have over 40 clubs and activities, and I'll promise you there's something in there that your son will want to get engaged in. And can you do both? Of course you can. Now there'll be some times if things happen at exactly the same time, then we may have to pick. But there'll be opportunities for them to be engaged in all of those pieces as well. There's something, you guys, for everybody in there. And again, let's get them engaged, get them involved, get them here after school doing some things that way. The staff that we'll work with, Julie Marks is over here. She's part of our athletics and activity staff. John Kinney and Jason Burr will also make that staff up. Fall sports, you guys, is it too late to get involved? Absolutely not. Fall sports start next week, next Monday, on August 12th. So it's never too late, you guys. I'll be around. We can take some questions at the end. I'm sure there may be something that you guys aren't sure about, but get your sons involved. It'll be a great thing, and they will acclimate and enjoy their experience here at St. Thomas Academy all that much more. That being said, Brian, we'll go ahead and bring you back up, and we'll keep rolling. Thank you, guys. I look forward to meeting all of you.
So we've talked a lot tonight about student engagement, and we're going to talk a little bit about parent engagement. So I want to introduce the presidents of our Mothers and Fathers Club, Amy Fafinski and Mike D'Agostino.
We usually don't get applause. But my name is Mike D'Agostino. I'm president of the Fathers Club, and you may have heard this. You may have seen an email on it. But by virtue that you have a kid here, you are a member of the Fathers Club. So there's no secret handshake. There's no uniform to wear. You are a member. So you should feel welcome just on that. You know, our mission is real simple. We just support the school in its mission. So. You heard about the mission of the school. That's our job, is to support them. And through supporting them, we support our kids. But there's also a benefit to that because we get to know each other as fathers. And I can tell you, it's been a great journey for me to get to know dads. And you just can't imagine the relationships you make. And because we gather, we take kids from all over the metro area, you meet dads you would never normally meet. I mean, you're meeting guys from, Eden Prairie, you meet people north and south suburbs, and if you're on your little corner like I am in Woodbury, you wouldn't get to meet those folks. So it's great. And I'll just say this, I was 11 years ago, my oldest son started here, and there's only one other family from St. Ambrose in Woodbury that came over. So we knew nobody. And 11 years later, I'm sitting here. They tricked me into becoming Fathers Club president. But it was all the relationships and all the events that I've been at, and just the fun I had. And people volunteer at all different levels. So don't ever feel like you have to take on a role like this. There's all sorts of other roles to take on. And I'm sure Amy will tell you about those as well. So I just challenge the dads, get involved at some level, and you will make friends here that will last a lifetime. So the pitch is, if you haven't got the email, there's a Fathers Club kickoff meeting this Wednesday at the Pool and Yacht Club at 6:30 to 8:30. Food and drinks are free on the house. It may be the only free thing you get at St. Thomas. It's not a fundraiser, all right? So please come. And there's a little short meeting just to introduce you to what we're going to do at Fathers Club this year, and you get a hat, and all that sort of thing. But I think more importantly, you start building relationships. That's the key. Is we do this because we do it for our kids, but we also do it for fun. And I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amy Fafinski, who's the Mothers Club president. And I can tell you, the Mothers Club rocks. They dwarf the Fathers Club. Hats off to Amy. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Amy Fafinski. I have a son that just graduated this year, and I have an 11th grader. So we're almost done at St. Thomas, and it'll be a very sad day when I leave the school. We joined a number of years ago, and I immediately got involved. It's a very welcoming group of ladies and women and guardians that we have here at our school. And I like to say we're a mother's club, but we're also a guardians club, because a mother can take many different shapes and sizes and different ways that families help out. So I want to encourage that too, that if there are some other women in your son's life that are equally important as you, or take on that role once in a while, feel free to include them in our events. Mother's Club is 81 years old. I know it looked a lot different than it does today. A lot of us moms are working moms. We don't have as much time. And so really, it truly takes a lot of us to pull things off. We host and run about 50 different events throughout the year for us as moms, for our boys, and for the school. So it really takes a lot of us to get involved to make that happen. And truly, the friendships that you make out of your involvement are really what I take home. And I really value those friendships. And it's not just friends with moms in my son's grade, it's other moms throughout the school that you really get to know. A lot of you might have seen me at the used and new uniform sales. So if you hopefully got all of your uniform needs met, that's great. If you haven't, we do have used uniforms throughout the year. That is run by Doreen Feist and Jennifer Rutgers. A couple of things I'd like to highlight as far as like my favorites for the Mothers Club is that we have a harvest mass and dinner just for moms. You start out with a mass and then have a dinner at the school, and that's on October 9th. There is a mother-son mass and brunch on December 8th that you can't miss. It's a time when you have a mass just with your son or sons, and then you go into the gym and have food catered by Lake Elmo Inn, which is amazing. So talk to any mom who's been to one of those, and it's a pretty cool event. We also do a Mother's Morning of Prayer in the spring. We don't have a date for that yet, but it's for moms from Visitation and St. Thomas to get together for a morning mass and then a speaker of some sort. We also support social events by grade. So we have grade reps, 6th through 12th. Look for emails, look for communication. They're going to try to gather you as parents so you get to know each other, because then your kids will get to know each other. And you'll get to know the parents of the kids their kids are hanging out with. Everything that we do is updated on the website at cadets.com. We have a Father's Club webpage and a Mother's Club webpage, and that information will be current as of next week. So you can look for my information or any other information on there. So welcome to STA. I look forward to getting to know you. Thank you.
We have a little extra time built into our schedule, so I thought maybe if there are any questions, now that we have several people here that can answer them, any questions that you have that might be relative to the group at large that we can answer right now. Don't be shy. This is what it's like at school too. Go ahead. Good question. So the question was about back to school. Does your son attend with you? The answer is no. You certainly could. A lot of students are here because they're here for late practices and things like that. But really, this is a time for parents to go into classrooms and ask teachers questions about their classes. There's a little presentation that's given by each teacher about a little bit about themselves, a little bit about the curriculum, and it can have some time to answer questions from parents. So, no, your son does not need to attend that night. How early do you drop your son off in the morning? Yeah, absolutely. Pretty early. We've got boys here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Coach Brian gets here about 4:30. He's happy to take your sons in any day, pre-workout. No, you'll find if you're new to this community, and this is an amazing thing, and it's really a testament, I think, to the power of the school and how much the boys love being here, is they are here all the time. They're here in the morning. Of course, they got the school day. They're here after school, tutoring and working together. They've got practice. After practice, they'll be sitting in the lobby of Flint Hall here, above the atrium, which we're going to have furnished very soon. They'll be out there working together, laying on the floor. Some of them are sleeping. They're here all the time, and they're everywhere, and we welcome that. It should be a home away from home for them. So if you need to drop them off at 6 o'clock, so be it. Absolutely. Feel free. I don't necessarily encourage like all 145 freshmen to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But just know that this is a place where we welcome your sons when we're open at all times. Yes? Do you bring your laptop to technology night? Where's Tina? Of course she's not. Dang it. You certainly can, and she can give you, if you already have a laptop purchased, you can bring it with you. Of course, if you don't have a laptop, on our website, we've got the specs that are like a minimum standard for what we expect our laptop to be. Now, it can be a Mac-based or a PC-based. However, we are really a Mac-based school, largely. We have Mac labs. Our teachers have Mac laptops, so we primarily run on that. Tina, should parents bring laptops to the tech session on the 13th? Okay, you certainly can, she said. So, if you have a freshman or an underclassman son and they've got a big brother and they are responsible for driving them to school, yes, they are linked. I will say this, our participation standards for extracurriculars are pretty strict. Our expectations are that you are here on time. If you are not here, it is because you have a significant emergency, so a family emergency or event, such as a funeral, which you get prior authorization for, and that you're doing well academically. So if you're academically eligible, then you can participate. So if you're not here on time, that's an unexcused target. And the fact that there's traffic on the bridge, every day. Guess what? It's Minnesota. It's going to snow in the winter. You gotta leave a little early. Okay. Of course, we have discretion in some of those matters, and we do exercise that. But by and large, we are pretty strict on that. So please, by all means, get your sons here, or tell your older sons to get their little brothers here on time, so that they do not affect their eligibility. Good question.
Visible spot to figure out what the day is, like maybe or something, like sometimes you go back on vacation, it doesn't go to something.
Yep, that's a great question. Question was, are there visual cues within the school to let your sons know what day the rotation is? Yes, there are. We have laminated blown-up posters that are strategically located around the school. We also, if you go out to the monitor out here in the Flint Atrium, Cerisi Atrium, excuse me, you'll see that. That scrolls with school information, including the day of the week, and more importantly, the lunch menu. Up in the middle school, they have one as well when you come in the doors. And we have one right by the main school office upstairs. So we do have them strategically placed throughout the school. The boys adapt to that rotating schedule so quickly. We were nervous about that when we instituted it. They knew it better than the adults in the building within the first week. So I usually find myself asking somebody in the morning, what day is it again? And they know, because they are just on that with their classes. They get that schedule done real quick. Other questions? These are great questions. Sorry, can you see that? The login information for the portal? Yes, so you will get all your login information for that parent portal next week, in addition to the schedule that's going to be mailed to you. I promise we'll take care of your sons. So when they forget something, and they will. When they forget their tie, when they forget their black socks, when they forget their book, I encourage you to let them sort that out themselves. I know our instinct as parents is to fix it. And we get a lot of deliveries during the day from parents. Oh, can you get Johnny his blouse coat? Can you get him his, can you deliver his algebra book? And I understand that. And please don't take this as me harshly directing you to let your sons fail all the time. However, there is value in that taking that responsibility for themselves. And I apologize, I was over at the middle school orientation. I don't know if Colonel went through anything about them ironing their own pants. Okay? We want them to carry their own weight around here. And there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of growth in that. So whenever you can, I invite you to exercise that discretion. I promise you, the 3 demerits or the little ribbing he might get from me or somebody else is not going to destroy his self-confidence. Okay? It's going to help him build a sense of responsibility and duty to what he's doing here. The first couple of weeks, we take it easy on the freshmen especially. Okay, that uniform, that's difficult to get used to, even if they're coming from a school, a private school, where they did have a school uniform. This is a very new thing. So, wearing it the right way, once they get their grasp, wearing those things the right way, it takes some time. And they get encouragement, they get direction from their peers. We have the upperclassmen do a great job of coaching these boys. They're next to each other all over. The lockers are not segregated sophomores, freshmen, seniors. They are sprinkled in amongst each other. And that creates a really awesome dynamic where you get a lot of peer correction and peer coaching from upperclassmen and freshmen. Those connections, those informal connections that help those freshmen and new students feel comfortable in this building and feel part of the community, we find really invaluable. So they will get taken care of. Any other questions that I can answer for the group? Of course, we have any individual after. Yes?
Is there a parent directory available online or?
Yes, we will be distributing, hopefully by back to school night. Back to school night, when you come, you will be able to pick up your hard copy of the parent book, which will give you contact information for all families in the St. Thomas Directory. School supply list. Is it on the website? There is one for the middle school, I know because I received that, but in the upper school we do not have one. It's based on their summer reading. And, our general expectations for school supplies is what works for that student. We don't have a strict guideline of what they need. What we do, gosh, I don't know. However their organizational standard works, that works for us. What I do recommend are the locker caddies. The locker caddies are really important because for them, when they bring, especially in the winter, when they have their winter coat or they have a blouse coat for an event, they have all their books and all those things, those lockers get jammed, and please encourage your son to lock his locker. They get really lazy and jam the lockers with pencils and things like that so they can just quick open it. And, they lose things are borrowed, they love doing that, and then they are not returned. They get forgotten about, discarded, and not returned, and then suddenly somebody stole my blouse coat. So, encourage your sons to please lock their lockers. Other questions? I'll tell you what, some of these freshmen that come in are incredibly organized. They have their days planned down to the last 2 minutes. Some of them, I wonder how they walk and chew gum at the same time. It's such a spectrum of where they're at. We try to meet each of them where they're at and elevate them, but yeah, I did use that. Any other questions? So our late starts are typically at 9:30. If we do an early release, if for instance we have a flip B day where we do an early release, a flip B day means that we run it's a B day, we run all our classes in the morning, so 4175, and then we have the afternoon for either programming, so we might do the Archbishop's Review on a flip B day, which we will be doing, which means that we run all our classes straight through, we have a lunch as a big group, and then we go out to the field and we have the Archbishop's Review, which is a terrific event here, showcasing what the boys have been working on all year in their leadership classes, along with BFI and a couple other reviews that we do. That would be a flip B day, and then they get out at roughly their normal time, maybe about 2:30. I send out notice of any sort of early release that's earlier than 3 o'clock, but we might have more. Okay, so typically if we do an early release, it would be a flip B day, it'd be like a noon release. And those schedules, those special schedules, are printed in the student handbook. So our late start is 9:30. Our early release is about noon. It's like 12:15. Good question. We used to, when we were on the 7th period day, and we weren't in sync with visitation on our schedules, we probably had about 60 special schedules. And we would just turn out a new schedule on the fly during the school day because X, Y, or Z happened. Thankfully, now that we're in sync with this, it forces us to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more planful, and so you only have 3 really special schedules if you need to know. Any other questions? Is there a freshman sing day this year? We're not planning on it, no. Yeah, I know there's mixed feelings about that. We certainly got our reasons for that, but we're not planning on freshman sing day. And I wouldn't encourage your senior sons to petition me for that at this point. What is freshman sing day? Okay, this is where we're going, huh? I'm just gonna lead here. Freshman sing day. Freshman sing day for a period of time was a day where the seniors would corner freshmen and have them sing the school fight song, right? So, in essence, it sounds great. The freshmen get to know what the school fight song is. We sing it at a lot of things, celebrations, after football games, after big victories, and other activities, which is great. It started to get to be more intimidation and cornering and grouping of students. I noticed before my time, there were students getting hung over the rails out by the court and making them sing and shaking your head, you know what I'm talking about. Certain things that just won't fly right now. So we worked on it with the seniors a few years ago. Unfortunately, when you get 135 boys to try to do anything collectively in a way that they initially agreed upon, it proves a little bit more difficult than we can manage. So we did not have it last year, and I don't anticipate it coming back. Sorry? Grandparents' Day is on the calendar. Grandparents' Day is a phenomenal day around here. We have a big mass in this space, so all the bleachers are pulled out, and we set up the altar, and we have floor seating for 900 grandparents plus all the bleachers. All grandparents are invited to be here. It starts with that program, which is the mass, and then there's a review after that. So we go back out to the field, and the boys march with their grandparents. And it's a day that they feel an immense pride. A lot of those grandparents are reasons why they're here. They're helping them be here. They're keeping big influences on their lives. So it's a great day. I encourage you to invite all your parents who are with us to attend that day. We send out notice of that. They'll get personal invitations to come in and RSVP. We have hors d'oeuvres and photographs across in the other gym they can take with your sons. It's a great day. And it's on the calendar. I want to say October 2nd or 3rd off the top of my head. 2nd. So it's October 2nd. Thank you. Other questions? Okay, great. Again, we will stick around for any individual questions. Thanks so much for your attention. I know it's a lot of information, but we are so excited to have you here this year and to advance our mission of developing boys into men of character in partnership with you. So, thank you.